when there's poverty, there is going to be a need for a food bank.
It took a little while, we thought about it, and then we took the plunge.
Some people sound even desperate, and that really comes to get me, because I don't think people should beg for food.
C'est pas une décision facile de faire appel à la banque alimentaire, mais ça devient naturel, puisqu'on n'a pas le choix.
When you tell some of your friends that this is where it's at right now, it's not easy.
The demand for food bank services has just skyrocketed over the last number of years.
I think we have to understand, why is there demand, why is it growing, and what interventions could we do that goes to the root causes. You know, Ottawa is a rich city, and then yeah, there are pockets within the city, and we happen to be one of the neighborhoods, where there are real social economic challenges. You know, I would go to sort of the extremes. We have an aging demographic, we have seniors buildings. A lot of our seniors don't have the same abilities to the grocery store or prepare their own food. The other one is, we have families, newcomer families living in motels on Rideau Street, for example, and they have no kitchens. They have no ability to cook food, they have no ability to store food.
Food insecurity comes from income insecurity, and so when there's poverty, there is going to be a need for a food bank. Behind me is the community house, and the community house has been part of our organization, the Lowertown Community Resource Centre, for the last 6 years. It's a place for gathering, a place for workshops. Out of this community house is operated a food bank. Now where we are now though, the food bank occupies almost all of the resources of the community house.
Oh, the stew, beans? Yeah, oh, beans, yeah, okay. My name's David, and I was born and raised here in Ottawa, and we've been visiting with LCRC for almost a year now. We needed some help, my son and I, so we started to visit, and they've helped us out a lot. The honey, I'm sorry, the beans, it's...
So all the people who use the food bank in any of our programs and services, they are residents, and we refer to them all as residents.
I was born and raised here in Ottawa. My LinkedIn profile is still open to the public, and I spent a number of years with the LCBO, then with Gallo Wines from California, then Bacardi, and then I got out of the alcohol beverage industry and into logistics, transportation, supply chain. Yeah, I wore suits for 30 years, shirt and tie, and life changes. Tomato sauce, original, baked beans, tomato sauce. Oh, here it is.
David is a resident. I'm not exactly sure how long he's been with us, but I have seen him and I have spoken to him. David, you'd probably think if you saw him in the streets, he's not somebody that would require services from a food bank, but he is on an ongoing basis. So I think it's also important to realize that there is a wide range of different profiles and people who will come who need services from a food bank. So I think it's important to put in perspective how food insecurity can affect everybody.
You know, over the years, I've met gentlemen who were professors, ladies who were doctors, and you meet them years later, or you find out that, yeah, they've gone through extremely tough times, and some of them are on the streets.
So yeah, I think Grace put there's some toiletries in there, eggs, that's empty. Yeah, oh, actually, I don't have any.
The demand for food bank services has just skyrocketed over the last number of years. In 2017, there were just under 9,000 visits to our food bank. And if things continue on their current trajectory, in the current year, 2022, we will be well over 16,000 visits. So we can see that in the space of about 5 years, the demand has doubled.
Here's some. Thank you, that's my favorite. Can I have two?
The situation for help was that I'm not working and recently on disability. So there's only so much money to go around, and that's when I needed the help with respect to getting through each month. We all have hurdles sometimes in life, physically and mentally, to get through, and the cost of living, the cost of food, and everything else has skyrocketed. So it's nice to have some of the luxury items as they become luxury items, because it's difficult to make it through from one pay month to another. So.
You don't have meat?
No, not yet. No.
Which one do you want?
Chicken and burger is fine.
We had people who used to come to our food bank before the pandemic and are coming back now. And during the pandemic, they were surviving, if you want to call it that. But now they're saying, that's it, like I can't.
One of the elements that we sort of came through the pandemic was basic income. When residents have basic income, then their access to food banks is not needed because they're able to pay for their transportation, they're able to pay for their home, and they're able to pay for food. So I think the model in itself, there's a lot of effort, there's a lot of time, there's a lot of money, but it's completely called to change, but it's not changing fast enough for communities like Lowertown.
It was physical work that I was doing the last 3 years or so of my career, and it just made things worse. So yeah, I'm in constant pain and it's being monitored and you take your medication and so on and so forth, but I'm still waiting for 3 surgeries like almost 1 million other Canadians out there now. So I don't know if they're going to get to me this year, but we'll see.
So on Mondays is our, Mondays are the day that we receive our food from the Ottawa Food Bank. So a big truck comes and unloads a large amount of food because it doesn't unload in the house. So we have to physically go get it. So just imagine, let's say, cases of cans. So we have to bring it in the house. We go up and down the stairs over 100 times with the boxes and like heavy boxes. And we have to separate the food in an equitable way, trying to ensure that we have enough all week and try to ensure that those who got food Tuesday, which is the first day of distribution, get the same kind of food Thursday. And to be honest, it's really hard. So we try our best to have like an inventory that makes sense.
Et aussi parfois il y a beaucoup de personnes qui arrivent à l'improviste, genre qui deviennent des emergency, des urgences, parce que ils ont carrément, ils n'ont rien à manger. Oui, donc c'est ça fait tous les jours. Je m'appelle Oli Frank Ndaïsounze, je suis burundais, je suis venu du Burundi l'année dernière en novembre. Normalement, je suis de la communauté LGBTQ, donc vivre au Burundi, notre sexualité, c'était un peu difficile. Donc j'étais souvent confrontée à des menaces, donc c'est ce qui m'a poussé à venir ici au Canada.
Oui, oui. Est-ce que vous pouvez pas y aller, c'est tout ça? Oui, c'est un mercredi. Our phone rings a lot here, so we have to, and the way you get services from the food bank, you have to book an appointment, so you're already registered in our system. And so when I answer the messages, sometimes I return the messages, I could hear it in their voice how they're in need of food. And I kind of feel this, I feel uncomfortable when they have to kind of sell their case to me, why they need food. Kind of, and some people sound even desperate, like even begging, and that really comes to get me, because I don't think people should beg for food. And I think also when I call back residents, and we're so busy, and I tell them, I'm sorry, I have no appointments left for 2 weeks. I could hear that silence in the phone, and that really, really comes to get me. I could just imagine what's going through their mind, like, how am I going to feed my kid? I have nothing left in my fridge, 2 weeks. I tell them, look, we'll place this appointment in 2 weeks. We'll figure it out, we'll give you something. We're not going to leave you hanging.
En tant que demandeur d'asile, on a le social qu'on nous donne, mais qui n'est pas vraiment suffisant. Si tu arrives à payer déjà le loyer et que tu paies le téléphone, il ne te reste quasiment rien. Donc pour faire les courses, c'est soit tu préfères manger une semaine et mourir de faim. C'est pour cela que j'ai pris cette décision de venir ici à la banque alimentaire, d'être un résident et d'être en même temps bénévole.
So not only is it difficult to have enough food, it's also difficult and a challenge to have the right kinds of food, to make sure that we have enough healthy food, that we have enough food that meets the dietary needs of residents of Lowertown. Be that for health reasons and allergy reasons, but also be it for dietary restrictions and religious reasons.
Is because we have a lot of people who are new here, and and getting familiar with our Canadian food might be difficult, and with reason. So I think it's nice to offer them still something that their body is used to and that their family is used to consuming. So for me, it's very important to diversify, but It's not easy.
Non, c'est pas tous les jours qu'on trouve ce qu'on veut, parce que parfois je me dis qu'il faut aussi diversifier. Donc il faut aussi que penser à notre culture aussi africaine, parce que parfois on a besoin des aliments qu'on avait chez nous, qui n'est pas toujours facile à trouver. Par exemple, les pommes de terre d'ici ne sont pas bonnes que nos pommes de terre. Ils sont un peu sucrés. Mais ça va, on s'y fait.
Do you guys have anything sweet?
Another one of the challenges that we have here at the food bank with space is confidentiality. And so you have a highly visible house in the middle of the community, and when a person comes to the door, to have a proper space where we can receive them, where we can build a relationship with them, build trust, and hear what their issues are. And those could be related to, again, access to revenue. It could be around mental health struggles. It could be conflict, family violence. How do we find solutions, and how do we have a safe space for people to be able to share those things with us and feel confident? And in a house like this, unfortunately, it's very difficult.
Si vous voulez le papier toilette, vous la donnez? Ah oui, c'est vrai.
It's not easy for people to come up to total strangers, tell them in some ways their life story and how they arrived, you know, disclosing all kinds of stuff, you know, and I'm saying all kinds of stuff, but it's personal stuff that it's, you know, to ensure that they're able to help you, and at what level, you know.
Yeah, here it is, with maple style, there we go.
I was told by other people, you know, David, you know, you don't have to be worried about people being pretentious or looking down on you. Other people need help too. You don't want to be a burden, you don't want to feel like a burden, but it can be a little, yeah, you're apprehensive because you're nervous about it.
C'est pas une décision facile de faire appel à la banque alimentaire, mais ça devient naturel puisqu'on n'a pas le choix. Oui, mais je me dis que c'est pour un petit moment que dès que j'aurai un travail, je pourrai donc ne plus bénéficier, mais quand même de toujours aider les personnes qui sont dans le besoin ici au centre.
No rice?
No, I'm good. I still get to, I'm really good.
It took a little while, we thought about it, and then we took the plunge. So yeah, it's difficult, and when you tell some of your friends that this is where it's at right now, yeah, it's not easy.
There you go.
If we had more space, we would be better placed to address food insecurity, because we could open up our kitchen, cook food that's going bad. We would be addressing food insecurities in a much better way, teaching people how to cook certain foods, teaching people how food could last a long time, teaching people not to be wasteful, and we can't.
Well, look, it's not at the higher level in the sense that the space is contributed in charge by us as OCH, because we know it's a direct service to tenants. The governance around it is the Lowertown Resource Centre, who's funded by the city. So it gets complicated quickly, but ultimately we have to all agree that there is a need and we have to respond effectively. What I would caution you is you can put a lot of Band-Aids. If tomorrow we found a bigger space, what do? We just create a new space when the demand continues to grow. I think we have to understand, why is there demand, why is it growing, and what interventions could we do that goes to the root causes.
We have amazing staff. I think for me and the staff, it's really important to have people on board who know how to have good conversations with people, to be empathetic and non-judgmental. We're always professional. We do love our residents, you know, we respect them, and they appreciate us. They appreciate what we do. They appreciate our empathy and our warmness and our capability to listen.
Thank you so much, huh?
Oh, you know, it's my pleasure, thank you. Thanks to everyone for
No, we're always,
your help.
that's what we're here for
Well,
sure.
we're very grateful.
I'm fond of the people that work here. They're a great team. Just meeting them here, and each time we look forward to them, we share some jokes. They get the update as far as my injuries and my bobos, I guess you want to call them. And I've seen some of them develop and graduate. So I'm very proud of some of the young people that I've met here.
I think what's interesting is that for me, it's like, okay, I just gave a bag of clothes, but you need to put yourself in the mind and in the head of that person, what that did for them that day. It made a huge difference.
It's a bit of a godsend that, you know, you pass the word on and say, oh, by the way, and maybe then people are more comfortable about it. And when they meet the people here, they make them feel welcomed, and there's no judges, there's no judgment.
Bye. Is that your bag?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pack it. No, it's okay, because I'm just gonna arrange
right
it.
here, okay.
I'll just organize it here,
Okay, yeah, no problem.
and then, yeah.
At the end of the day, I think I can speak for our whole team, is we feel a mixture of emotions at the end of every day, at the end of every week. We feel frustrated, we feel very satisfied and very proud at the same time.
I think the frustration lies in that, is that the job's being done. But again, it's being done in such a temporary, ongoing fix that it's not a good one either, and it doesn't work.
We're relying on existing social services agencies, which were created and modeled at a very different era to meet today's needs, and that's failing us. And I think one of the aspects, specifically at City Hall, you have a generation now that's stepping down from politics. And I think that will give us an opportunity to really look at modernizing recreation services and social services programs and funding, and hopefully fast enough to capture the needs of communities like Lowertown.
I enjoy what I do. I go home and I feel good. If I made a difference, I'm honest with myself, and I know I did make a difference that moment of that day. But long term, the difference is very, very small, because the problem is still there. If anything, the frustration lies in the fact that not more is being done.
I think the power is in our youth. Let's empower our youth to talk about some of the real social economic challenges and why it's inadequate for their parents who are trying to make ends meet, trying to increase their revenue to feed families. Why today, the system needs to be better set up. When the system's failing, we fail those parents directly, and indirectly those kids have less opportunities, and they have barriers, and then we wonder as a society, oh, why is crime going up? Why aren't more kids graduating from high school? Why is this particular neighborhood having these problems? Well, often they're rooted in system failures from a very young age.
Our first focus as an organization is always going to be service. How do we meet the needs of residents who are struggling, who are having difficulties? At the same time, we always want to lend our voice and support those who are advocating on behalf of the broader issues, and making sure that enough income supports are provided to people, that enough affordable housing is provided, so that people don't have to have access to food banks.